Hi, I'm Sherry, one of the leads of Fiber Arts. Our other leads are Teresa and Melinda. Let me start by saying that you have found the Fiber Arts studio probably by following the orange line that takes you to our studio. Right here is the light switch as you walk in the door. The other lines lead you to the stained glass and the electronics studio. Members will be walking through our studio to get to theirs, and you should just be aware of that. As with any other studios in Spark, they are all shared spaces, so you should leave the spaces in clean, operable condition, at least as good as you found it, preferably better. On the left is the door to the space. It's usually open. Behind it is one of the ironing boards, and one of the irons are stored back here. There are others, and they are stored elsewhere, which I'll talk about in a moment. Here on the left is the storage for our consumables. Consumables are in bins clearly labeled with their contents. They are for sharing. If you need a large quantity of something or a very specific item and we don't have it, you should purchase your own. We rely almost exclusively on donations of both consumable supplies as well as fabrics and other materials. So we're always accepting donations and greatly appreciate them. Above the cubbies are some additional irons, some manuals for all of our sewing machines and equipment, and as well as a first aid kit. There are also vessels for carrying water. You can get water for the irons in the restrooms around the corner. When you're done with an iron, you should empty the water from the iron, leave the cover up so that moisture is not trapped inside and will damage the iron, and make sure it's cool when you put it away. Here we have the clean table. It's a great place for spreading out your projects. It should always be clean, and you should clean it after you're done using it. There's a notebook on the table for leaving questions, asking for help. It's where you would also request information about borrowing sewing machines. Extra sewing machines are stored on the bottom of the table, as are a few additional supplies that don't fit in the cubbies. On the wall above the clean table are projects that people have worked on and a lot of samples of classwork. All right, before we move on, I do want to point out that the clean table is on casters that lock. So if you need to pull the table out to get around it, all four sides, simply unlock the wheels, pull the table out, and lock the wheels again. When you're done, please put the table back. If you have any questions or need to reach anyone, you can email fiberarts@sparkmakerspace.org. That includes questions, problems, and borrowing equipment. On the wall behind me is where the scissors and the rotary cutters are stored, and you can feel free to use those in your time in the space. Here we have our commercial or industrial sewing machine. This machine is not to be used at all unless you have been certified and have been previously given authority to do that. It's a very critical safety concern. If you have not been oriented on the machine and want to be, please again email fiberarts@sparkmakerspace.org and we'll schedule an orientation for you. Here we have additional ironing boards available for use. In our orange shelf unit is where we store our fabrics. There are large variety of quantities and types of fabrics. They are all available for use at no additional charge. They're included with the membership that you pay for using Spark. But again, as I mentioned earlier, all of our supplies are donated. So if you need something in large quantity, if you need something specific, you should purchase your own. And again, consider donations, because we always love donations. Along the wall here, you'll notice cutting mats are stored on the wall, as well as you'll notice the certification sheet. This indicates if you've been certified to use the equipment in the space. While we're talking about certification, if you are not already familiar with using a sewing machine and have not already been approved for that, we do offer certification classes for basic sewing machine operation. In Spark, we have a variety of different sewing machines. Each one is unique because, again, they've all been donated, so we don't have all of the same kind of machines. We do have manuals for all the machines available through the wiki in the Spark Makerspace website. We also have the manuals stored over the cubby that we talked about earlier. The tables on which the machines are seated are adjustable by height. There's a handle to crank on the end, and there's a drawer for storage just below it. Let's wrap up our tour of this room with the serger. The serger is simply another sewing machine, but it has a very specific use. It will finish the edges of your fabric so that it won't fray. You must be certified to use this machine. Again, contact one of the leads or attend a station orientation to get that certification. A couple of points about the serger. Notice that the machine is already threaded. Do not unthread the machine or attempt to change the thread. This is a complex process not to be done by just anyone. If you encounter any issues, have questions, or need to have the thread changed, just send an email to fiberarts@sparkmakerspace.org and we'll coordinate with you. In the back area here is storage of additional fiber art consumable supplies. Also in this space is located a refrigerator for storing any snacks, as well as snacks and beverages available for donation. As a reminder, anything that you take out, you should replace to its original storage area. Before you leave the room, be sure that anything you plugged in is unplugged, and please turn off the light. Thank you for joining me on this tour of Fiber Arts. I hope you found it useful. If you encounter any issues, have questions, or requests, email fiberarts@sparkmakerspace.org. We look forward to a time when we can be together. Please safely enjoy the Spark Makerspace.